All right, buckle chasers, how about some buckle stoke? Today we have our Michigan Flatland Sea Level Racer update with Wendy Delker. She has been training with Carmichael Training, and she is improving. Her and her husband Randy are both doing it together, and he is with CTS also, and he's improving. They're training together, they're eating together, they're everything. They're doing this journey together. So it's a great. Hopefully, it's a marriage builder,
Yes, absolutely.
a relationship builder, and
Yes.
Wendy's going to share with us her journey. She has been, from the minute that she got the confirmation email saying you're in, she got a hold of CTS. She's been training with Matt Freeman, awesome coach with CTS, and she's going to share with us her progress. So, all right, Wendy, thank you very much for being on the show. Appreciate it. And how are you
You're
doing?
welcome. I'm good. Getting nervous though. It's getting
Nervous.
close.
It's counting
Yeah,
down, that's for sure. The hay,
yeah,
most of the hay needs to be in the barn.
I know. I think I'm on probably 8 times this week that I was like, I don't know, maybe I should wait. Maybe this isn't my year. But
Um,
it's all nerves.
it's all nerves.
Yeah.
And just an FYI, I went back to Michigan. I'm in Colorado. I went back to Michigan to visit some of my family, and Wendy and Randy are from there, and we rode together at a place called the Potawatomi Trail by Fenton in what,
Chelsea, I think that's Chelsea, Michigan.
and we did a couple loops of the Potto, and it was a 5 hour plus ride. And when Randy and Wendy are doing great, they're not at elevation yet, but if the race was not at elevation, they'd rock it. So far so good. The trajectory is perfect for Leadville. So I'm happy for them. They're doing well, and I think they're going to do great come race day. They're going to have a red carpet, ending with Mary Lee giving them a big hug and a buckle. So yeah, that's right. Cross your fingers on that one. So,
Yeah.
share with us what you have done. Where were you with some numbers? Give us some numbers. Where were you? What was your next fitness test? What was this fitness test, and how are you progressing?
Okay. Yeah. So I don't have them all memorized. I'm new to all of the numbers side of things. This is our first time ever training with power and numbers and cadence and I first time owning a computer even for my bicycle. It's all been just get out and ride. So I'm still learning it. And I even forget most of the time to even look down at my computer to see what I'm doing. And there's been times that like Randy's asked me, oh, what power did you do for that, long climb we did or a push down a road? I'm like, I don't know. I never even looked. He's like, are you kidding me? Like, it hasn't become habit yet. So these numbers are all new, but so my last test, my power number was 194, not the one I just did previous. My
Okay.
power number was 194 the last time we talked, I believe. And heart rate zone was 161. I don't know what my heart rate zone is now. I think that's gone. I think that's changed too. But I know my power number has gone to 203, which puts my watts per kilogram at 3.2.
All right.
I
Well,
think those are the numbers you like to hear, right?
those are great. I mean, excellent. You're improving. You have improved since you started to your first test, and then you improved from your first test to your second test, and then you've gained again from your second test to your third test, right?
Yeah, but I'll tell you what I have not improved on. I have not improved on executing these tests. This is this is still talking to Matt, the coach, he definitely has calmed my mind on it. I got very worried about how I did on the test because I recognize that the point of the test is for him to know what kind of power zones to have us in for training. And if I don't do the test correctly, how is he going to give me the appropriate testing zones or training zones?
Right.
So after the test was done, I 100% knew that I did not do my best on it. I was way too much in my head. But he says, listen, there's so many other ways to tell your progress, and you know, he's following along with all of it. So that's really cool. It's nice to have a coach telling you, no, you're fine. This is, you know, we have all these other rides that we look at, not just that one, you know. And but yes, I get in my head and I hear all of this advice, right? All of these points to ponder, all these things to remember. And when the test is done, I'm like, no, I should be more fatigued. I should be wanting it to be over. And I feel like I could, you know, gas it more. But yeah, like the beginning, I'm like, okay, don't go too hard that you get the bullhorn and your power, you know, whatever. And then I'm like, okay, you got to build up for a minute. And then how long can I hold this for 8 minutes? And then at the end, I'm like going harder to try to, I don't know.
Right. Well,
We still have a lot of growth to go with the training or with the testing.
so here's what Wendy is referring to. We've talked about it. Is it showing up good?
Yes, a little
Okay.
bit. It's not, there you go. Yeah.
Okay, so this would be an 8-minute interval for a CTS field test, the first one. And you can see where they, you know, you super take off and you're just absolutely going wide open. And then you realize, oh my God, I'm never going to be able to carry it. And then you get to here and then you kind of up and down, and then you drop off after your 8 minutes. So
Yeah.
what we've discussed is to try and go into the test a little bit easier. You know, you're still ramping it up, but you'd like to see the power curve come up, flatten out, you know, and then drop down instead of super a lot of power and then drop down and then keep going. You don't want it to be like a trapezoid like that.
Yeah.
Then you're losing power. We'd like to have the test be flat. That would be the perfect test.
Yeah.
So when she
Well, we
says
have not mastered that yet. Mine still is like, no, I didn't do the bullhorn though. I did well with that, but I still was like going up then at the end instead of like down.
right. So you had a little bit more to give.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Matt, but he will adjust your power zones and your training zones accordingly. And he'll probably add a little bit just because he knows that you had more in the tank. So
yeah. He's also told me that I've got some cadence work to do. So that's all. Again, I just have always ridden just by feel, and so learning that there's, you know, a rhyme and a reason to everything is I really enjoy it, but I'm new, so I got a while to go, I think.
Right. And you know, your cadence is going to be critical for Leadville, because the more you divide the load, you know, so the more you can spin, the faster you can spin, the more you divide the load, and you're going to be able to last longer. If you just low cadence, just drive it home all the way up Keevan and all the way across the pipeline and Conduit Roads and all the way up Sugarloaf and then Columbine, you are just going to burn yourself out. So if you learn how to spin, and you're definitely going to, you know, it's a practice thing, but you know, when you can set your Garmin to where you put your, you could put cadence in one of the windows, and then I think you could put a cadence alert. So if you should really look into that. And because if it can tell you you're below 70 or whatever your number is, you know, it'll give you a chime. You'll look down, you'll be like, okay, low cadence, shift. If you can. You might not be able to shift, right? You might be out of gears and you're climbing super steep and you are where you are. But if you can set that, or if there's not I should probably get my Garmin and check it out while you're talking. Find out, you could just set your eat alarm, and every time your eat alarm goes off, look down at your cadence.
I do have that on. I have that set for every 15 minutes.
Great.
So
yeah, you want that. You know, you need the alarm to remind yourself to eat, because you're just going to have to fuel all day.
Yeah.
Eat early, eat often.
Yeah.
So, but if it goes off, you can look down and say, okay, where's my cadence? How am I doing? Let's, you know, if it's 70, let's see if I can shift and get it to 80.
Yeah.
You know? And if you can, get it to 90.
Yeah.
No, it's going to help you in the end, right? It's going to help you at the end of the day. You're going to be happy you did that. You're going to be passing people coming home. Your mental attitude is going to get better every time you reel somebody in and pass by them. It's just going to fuel your fire, and you're just going to be, you're going to be able to pick it up. You're going to be able to maintain that momentum, keep the good attitude, keep passing people, and get home. So
Right.
it's going to be great. I love it.
Next few weeks, I'm going to have to try to dial that in a little bit.
Yeah, well, this is what the training is, right? I mean, you're learning about your power and your numbers and your watts and all that kind of stuff. Well, you're learning about cadence and how cadence can help you get through a long day like this.
Yeah. Even saying it too, it's like, it feels so like, not embarrassing, but like, really, like, that's what I'm struggling with. But then I remind myself that this is new. Like, I'm not new to a bicycle, but new to this style and new to paying attention to it. And ultimately that's what your whole show is about, right? Just
Absolutely. We're learning, we're helping the first time buckle chasers. And I can tell you, this will be my 29th start.
That's amazing.
Leadville Trail 100. And I am still learning. Every year I learn, because I shut this, I open these, and I pay attention, and I trust the people who have so much more experience in certain fields than I do. And I just listen to them, and it's like, oh my God. And I learn about fueling. I learn about, I have to remind myself. I mean, I catch myself doing 50 cadence, and it's like, shift, shift, because I don't know, you get in the zone and you're just doing it, whatever it is. You're just surviving that climb or that straightaway, whatever it is. And then you're not paying attention to everything you need to all the time. So, you let it drop. That's why you have the eat alert, because you could pedal, and you could not eat for an hour and a half. You're just in it, right? You're just in it. So the eat reminder, the alert, just reminds you, eat, keep the tank topped off. Keep the tank at full. And that way, if something happens and you don't eat for an hour for whatever reason, now you're at half. But at half, you can recover and you can keep going at the rate you need to. But if you are running at half and then something happens and you don't eat for an hour, now you're at E, and now you cannot do what it takes to ride Leadville and recover. So it is just absolutely critical. And once again, Leadville is an eating contest disguised as a mountain bike race. It's a little saying, but it is so true.
When we go into a long ride unprepared with, prepared foods, and we go into it with just like packaged foods, oh my gosh, like, I mean, not even halfway in, I'm like, I'm so sick of sugary foods.
Right.
It's hard. So I think, man, if that's halfway into a ride around here, what's it going to be like on a really long day? So I still have some tweaking to do with the food situation, but I've got some good ideas anyway. Just got to spend some time in the kitchen prepping.
Right. And when we get, when you get to Leadville, we can definitely do some prepping there. And get some real food bites ready, so that you can have, some real food. And if you need, you can mix it in with some gels or whatever, but definitely have a mixture of both, so you can not have that terrible sugary stomach feeling.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, then you're just like, I do not want another bite. But I hear your words and everyone else saying, do not get behind that though. Like, just force yourself to take another bite. And I do, or a sip. I do try to bring, on my rides, the scratch powder that you put in your water. And that's really nice. I really like that when it gives you a break from chewing on something, or it just doesn't feel as heavy in your system,
Sure. Oh no. And the scratch super fuel is, I mean, you can get 400 calories in a bottle.
Yeah.
And just, for your newer racers, if you're having trouble and it's not mixing if you put water in the bottle and then you put the 7 scoops in, and then you put it up and try and shake it, it does not mix well. So a pro tip would be, put it in the blender, put your, whatever, put, 40 ounces and 14 scoops or whatever your blender will hold, and then, blend it and blend it at high speed for, 30 seconds or something, a minute. And then now it's completely dissolved into there, and you can, now it'll go into your bottles and it'll stay dissolved. It's not going to clump out. So that's good. That's a really good trick to use to make sure that you can get the full benefit of the product. So put in a blender, then fill your water bottles up, or your Camelbacks, or your USWE packs, whatever it is. So
yeah, I've only been using 200 calories worth. So I think that's a little over 200 calories. It's like 4 scoops. And I've had some success with doing a teeny bit of water first in the bottle, adding the scoops and shaking that up, and then adding more water to it. And then I've been doing it the night before, so it sets all night. But not in the fridge. If you put it in the fridge, it just stays all clumped up.
right, yeah. And when you try and do 7 scoops in a bottle, it's really hard to get it to dissolve. So that's
a lot of
when it
scoops.
comes in.
Yeah.
And if you're doing 200 calories in a bottle and you're doing a bottle an hour, that's fine, but you need to supplement that with food.
Yeah.
Of other sources, some other source of calories and carbs.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're probably going to need more like 300.
Yeah.
And everybody's different. So you've got to figure this out ahead of time. But you don't want to get behind on your nutrition program when it comes to Leadville.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. So you're doing good, you're feeling good, you're getting stronger. You're eating, you're going on some long rides, you're getting your nutrition dialed in.
Yeah.
How are you, do you have any questions regarding the bike?
Well, you'll see because we're heading out, so I'm sure you'll look it over. But I have been all year training on a plus size tire, and our coach has recommended that I go down and not be on such a large tire. So those are supposed to arrive in the mail today, so we'll see.
What did you get?
Maxxis Recon 2.4. Yeah, I was on 2.4 tire.
Okay, good. You will probably notice a difference when we're changing them. There should be a significant weight difference.
Yeah.
And the rotational weight is a big part of Leadville. You want that,
right?
lighter, there's a point, lighter is better to a point, so that when you're starting to turn the pedals over, it's easy to get that tire moving.
Right.
So you'll feel it and you'll be happy.
All good.
That's for sure.
Yeah. I was really nervous to make that change. Just, I'm comfortable on what I have, but I'm definitely learning that every little bit helps.
It all adds up. It all adds up. So good.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So your bike is good.
Yeah, bike is good.
You want to consider before you get, before August, we want to look at making sure, change out your pads in your rotors, or make sure that they're 3/4 or more left. Because in the event, if it's a rainy Leadville, you can go through a set of pads in a day.
Oh, wow.
Because we have fractured granite, not dirt. And that is a very coarse material. And if it's raining and it is splashing and you've got fractured granite on your rotors all day long, you can go through a set of pads in a day. And you do not want to be metal to metal coming down Sugarloaf, or through coming down St. Keevan, any of that stuff. So we don't want to start the race with 25% pad left on our brake pads.
Sure, makes sense.
Good move for Leadville. And we could, we'll check that out. If you new racers, get to your bike shop, consider new chain, pads, rotors, and batteries in your shifter and your dropper post. And if you have the new transmission stuff, you're going to need a lithium battery. So make sure you get all that figured out. Put a new battery in your heart rate excuse me, your heart rate strap all before August. So you know that the batteries are going to last all race. If you
Right.
got a Stages power meter and you're going to use it, put a battery in that too. Change out all the batteries so that you know that's not going to, you're not going to look down at your screen and, oh man, something's not going, or you can't shift. So change out all those batteries ahead of time as well. Get them dialed in, make sure everything's good. If you're not going to put on brand new tires, take the tires off, get rid of all that sealant that has put the film on there, and put new sealant in, and put the tires back on. Make sure you have fresh sealant in there. And if you just did that a month ago, then you just put a little bit more sealant in and you're probably good. But if it's been 8 months, you need to address that, because your sealant's probably dry or very little in it, and you don't want that. You don't want the extra weight to have all that sealant that's dried up. And then if your bike sat for a long time, then all that sealant's in one spot and you're going to have a thump, in your wheel. So there's just a lot of details, man, to get it right for Leadville. You want to make sure you want to make sure every box is checked, because there's going to be a lot that the race is going to throw at you. So, all right. So we touched on some of the bike stuff. How are you doing as far as getting your cold weather gear for the morning, getting your wet weather gear for the potential of a high mountain, Rocky Mountain storm? Where are you with that stuff?
I think I have my race day jersey picked out.
Because it is all about fashion when it comes to Leadville.
Actually, my choice wasn't based on fashion. You'll be surprised to know that. My choice was, I chose it based on being worried about so much sun exposure. So I have a jersey that is long, meant for sun protection, but is light also. So yes, but it is cute. It's all white. I like it.
There you go.
And then I have another layer. Oh, it's a really thin layer that is meant for a little bit more fluctuation in the day. So if it's a little cooler, even into warmer, it doesn't get too warm. And then a little bit more of a windproof jacket, and also a rain jacket.
And you're going to want to make sure you carry your rain jacket with you all day.
Yeah, I will. I pretty much plan on having all of that all day if I can pull it off. It's all obviously the jersey, and the other two are really light and thin. And then the rain jacket, I mean, you can't predict that, right?
You can't predict it, but you do not want to be caught without it.
No.
That's for sure. And something to consider is I will wear arm warmers at the start.
Yeah.
Or leg warmers. I'll have toe covers on. I'll have another vest that I got at Goodwill or Echo or someplace like that keeps me warm, because I get cold, and it's going to be 38, maybe 40, maybe 42 on a good warm day. It's not warm at the start of Leadville. So
yeah.
I want to make sure I'm not freezing and shivering, shaking by the time I get to the St. Kevin Dirt Road, Tennessee Creek Pass, or Tennessee Creek Road. So I'll have that stuff. So, but I'll pull my arm warmers down if it gets warm, and I'll just leave them at my wrists. And I'll do the same thing with my leg warmers. While I'm on my bike, I will not stop and get off my bike. I will just scoot them down, put them right below my knees, and they'll stay there. And if I need them again, I just pull them up. And I might do that 3, 4, 5, 6 times in a race. But you're saving time by not stopping. You don't want to take them off and then put them in your pack, and none of that crap. You are efficient. While you're moving, you're pulling them down, you're managing your body temperature while you're racing, not while you're doing a pit stop kind of thing. No way. So, consider that. And if you need your rain jacket, you don't want to have to stop, take your Camelback off, get your rain jacket out, something falls out on the ground. Now you got to pick that up. Now you got to repack it. None of that bullshit. It's easily accessible. If you can do it while you're riding, do it. If you can't, you come to a quick stop and you throw it on and you get going again. You don't just quit pedaling and then wait and then, burn 30 seconds until you stop and then put it on. And then, no, if you need to stop, you put it on, you get going again.
Do you wear a hydration pack?
For portions, absolutely. Now,
So
for
you
me,
just throw your rain jacket on over top of everything?
yep,
Yeah.
absolutely. Now, I will start with the hydration pack because at the start of the race, everybody's amped. You're hauling ass on the pavement, and you need to manage your place in your corral. Stay away from people. Give yourself an out. You've got to have time to react, and you don't have time to grab the bottle and drink. I don't think on the pavement is a safe move. When you get to the dirt at Keevan, you make that right-hand turn. Now you're on the 2-track dirt road heading up to the St. Keevan climb. You can there, but it's busy. I mean, you're dicing, people are passing, a lot of stuff's happening. People are stopping and undressing. People are grabbing for their bottle and hitting a rut. And, a lot of crazy stuff happens. So to avoid all of that, I will just have my hydration pack on and I'm able to quickly fuel and not take my hands off the bars for very long at all. I might ride with the hydration hose in my mouth for a while.
Oh,
That's
wow.
another way to just keep it in, get fuel when you need it. Don't spit it out. So you don't have to take your hand off the bar, because when you get to this Keevan climb, you're going to want more fuel. So I'm going to do it that way. I might drop it at Pipeline and just grab a bottle and throw that, or I might just keep it on. Kind of depends on the day. If it's a super hot day and I need more, I might grab a bottle. I might not even take it off. I might just grab the bottle to get to Twin Lakes. Then I'll have just a little bit longer stop, not much. I might take the hydration pack off. I might switch hydration packs. Again, it's going to be about the day, because a cloud cover cooler day might not need that much. I've got 2 bottle cages in my bike, so we'll just, there's a lot going on. So whatever you can do to keep fueling and keep your hands on the bars is a safer race. Guarantees you, it helps you ensure, doesn't guarantee, it ensures you more control on your bike, in rougher terrain, and to stay topped off. So
yeah. Well, I planned on wearing one the whole day. Yeah.
fine. And do you have, if you can, do you have more than one? Because it's better to undo your Camelback or undo your hydration pack before you get there. Have it off of your body in your hand, like Pipeline. If you're just going to shoot through Pipeline, and you're going to throw it on the ground to them, and you're going to keep pedaling, and they're going to hook it on your arm, and then you're just going to put it on and keep moving. And now you've completely refueled and you have not stopped.
Yeah, that might be tricky. So mine, like the side is, they're not really like compressed. So when it's off, these side pockets have no compression to them at all. So if I have anything in these side pockets, which I stuff these side pockets with all, salt tablets, little SPF lip balm, an extra sunscreen, and then food. It stores like all the way around on the sides. If I take it off, everything will fall out of those pockets. It doesn't close. It just, you're, being on the compression of it, being strapped tight. Yeah, that would be tricky.
Well,
however, to open the actual hydration portion is a zipper along the back, and is really easy to swap that out, but I wouldn't take it off to do it. I really just figured, I don't know, actually, that was a question, is if I kept it on, does somebody at the aid stations pour water into the pack for you? Or do
maybe,
they want to have it off and opened?
it's probably, well, they would need a container to transport it from the large container on the table to you. So
Yeah.
I don't know if they have open containers that they can just pour, like a pitcher. So most times they'll take your bottle or your pack, and they'll take it over to the big cooler that's full of the hydration product, and they'll fill it up and they'll give it back to you.
Yeah.
So think about that. If you're going to change bladders, have extra bladders that are already mixed, already full, ready to just be swapped out real quick, unzip, pull out, drop in. Try not to have to fish the hose through some little, hole to get it to. I mean, you just can't, you cannot burn that much time.
That's all time. Makes sense.
It's all time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you mentioned lip balm and sunscreen.
Yeah.
Okay, let's carry what we need
Yeah.
only.
It's only this big,
Well,
but it's
okay.
Okay.
I mean,
Deal.
you put your sunscreen on before the race.
Yeah.
You said you have a jersey that's going to help that.
Yeah.
And then you're not stopping to put sunscreen on. I'm sorry, sweetie. It's just not,
Okay.
you don't get that time.
Yeah.
You have got to bank every second you possibly can, just in case something happens.
Yeah.
Right? If you get a flat, let's say you get a sidewall tear and you've got to hike your bike a little bit to get to an aid station to get help. All of that stop, sunscreen, lip stuff, blah blah. No, you know what I mean. You have to bank as many seconds as you possibly can, so that in the event of a bad thing happening, you've got time to handle it and still be good.
Yeah.
So
Makes sense.
you don't need to carry that stuff. I mean,
All right. It's coming out.
all right, there you go. Only what you need
I'll put it in the drop bag.
in the drop bag. If you need it, fine. But
Right.
your drop bag, and here's the other thing, drop bag stuff. I mean, you got to be racing through that shit. You need to know where it is, how it's packed, what side, bottom, middle, top, something, so that you are not fumbling through and things falling out and you putting it back in and repacking. You can't do that for, if you're a 12-hour bubble racer, you can't afford that kind of delay.
Yeah.
You have got to be, it has got to be NASCAR fast. I'm in, I'm out, I'm back on my bike.
Got it.
If you're chasing cutoffs, that's the kind of pit stop you got to have. Nothing else.
Yeah.
So
I'm not sure I fully understand how the drop bag situation even works. If I understand correctly, you get two bags, one or two, like one net, and then two bags. They're at separate stations, but you will end up at those stations each twice, one going one way, one coming back the other.
I don't use drop bags, but it makes sense. And I know that I see them set out, and I see the volunteers running to them and running back, so that I know that they're going to stack them in order by your number, and you're going to call it out, and they're going to run and get them, and they're going to run back and give it to you. They're super efficient and they hustle. They are not burning your clock at all.
Yeah.
So I don't know exactly where they are. I think they're at Columbine, and I think they're at Pipeline.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. Well, I still have to dial that in. I have the bags ready and an idea of how I was, extra nutrition. Obviously, I'd like your idea of just having an extra hydration pack ready to go. Or, to fill, easier to fill and swap out.
have already filled.
Have it already filled. Okay.
Have it already filled. So they take your bladder out that's empty. They put the new bladder in that's full. Done.
Done. Yeah. I like it.
Much quicker way.
All right. One more purchase. The price tag on this stuff just keeps growing.
Yeah, no one said it was a cheap endeavor.
No.
Or an easy one, or an easy one. It's expensive work, that's for sure. But
I mean, even just finding like I purchased one bag, top tube bag, and it just ended up being way too small, way too narrow. I couldn't efficiently get things in and out of it. And then used your advice and got a different style, and it's dreamy different, much easier. I'm now able to get things in and out of it without stopping, which I could not do before. But again, like, you've already purchased this stuff, right? So now my mountain bike collection is just growing. And then gear, same thing, like finding, or, your riding gear, finding what fits you right and what's comfortable. And I've gone through several brands before finding one that's like, this is great. This, nothing fidgets, nothing hurts. This is good.
Right?
It's expensive, really expensive.
And it is a process, right? You've gotta write the check to find out if it's gonna be okay or not.
Shoes. Oh, those shoes was the hardest. I really struggle with my feet. And and also before this year training, I have always had flat pedals. And now I'm clipping in, and the shoes I purchased at first, I mean, my feet were on fire in these shoes after a little while of riding. And every race we've done, I have had to stop, take my shoes completely off. And yes, I know, and that's so much time, but there's no way I was finishing the race without taking them off and letting my feet breathe, for moving my toes, getting life back into them, letting that fire go away, and then I could finish on. But I actually, this Leadville participants page, no, it wasn't that one. It was a mountain biking ladies page that I joined on Facebook. And the women on that page have been so helpful. Whenever I've asked questions in there, everybody tells me what works for them, or I can tell you what didn't work. And by majority, majority recommended this one particular brand that I ended up going with, and it has been perfection. So
Well,
that's good. The only thing that's not
huge.
perfect though is that the brand I bought and the shoes I bought fit wonderfully, no pain at all ever in a ride. But they were out of stock of the BOA system. So
Yeah.
is that how you say it, BOA?
Huh?
So I had to get lace up, and let me tell you that this weekend we had a long ride and my laces got wrapped up in my bicycle and I just about bit it. That was scary. But yeah. So I somehow have to figure out how to secure my laces down to my shoes for race day, so that they don't end up they didn't come untied. They just got stuck into my chain and pedal.
Oh no, I mean, I can envision exactly what happened.
Yeah.
And here you go. Open up the checkbook again. You might want to get the ones with the boa if you can find them.
Well, there's still, I'll sign on again and look today, but the last I looked, they were still out of stock of my size.
Okay.
So,
The spring-loaded clips that slide, like for sleeping bags and that sort of thing.
yeah,
You could consider that. And if you've got these super big rabbit ears that you're tying, shorten the lace.
yeah, right. Just got them.
You know,
Yeah, good thinking.
you got to have some. You got to come up with something, because you cannot afford to get your shoelaces wrapped around your front
Oh,
ring, and now you need your leg for balance, and you can't get it, and then you crash because you couldn't get your leg out. You could unclip, but now you're tied by the shoelace.
yeah.
So those are the little details that could make or break your day. So
Oh, yeah.
let's figure out how we can. I mean, maybe you're going to look like grandma and have Velcro closures. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. As long as my feet don't hurt. I mean, that was the worst. The fire in my feet, it was, so bad. And I don't know if it's just that they were so narrow that once your body temperature comes up, everything gets tighter then. And it's so painful.
Well, true.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing you got that figured out. I mean, I personally had foot issues forever, and I tried wide shoes and I tried a bunch of different stuff. And then I finally went to Upstep, which is an insole company where they send you the foam box that opens up, and you step in it, you roll your foot, you step in it, you roll your foot, and then they make a cast, and then they make footbeds for your feet, custom.
Oh, nice. Mm-hmm.
And they ask you what exact make model of shoe are you putting this in, and I told them what I had, my Shimano S-Sphere shoes, and they sent me my custom insoles. Have never had a problem since.
Yeah.
I mean, gone. So to have that issue be completely eliminated, priceless. Absolutely priceless.
Yeah. It's
all right,
true.
so you got your shoe thing figured out. You got your jersey picked out. We talked about hydration and fueling. What else? What else are you still figuring out, the best way to go at it?
Yeah, so I've never worn leg warmers before, but I ordered a pair. They have not arrived. So that'll be, but I'll get to use those. We're actually leaving on Friday to head out west. So we'll get a little time out there and in that temperature to try out everything that I have. So we'll see. And toe
Good.
warmers, or toe covers, whatever those are called.
Yep. Yeah.
Um,
If you don't get cold, they're not, it's not a big deal, but I personally get cold and I gotta have them. I mean,
I get
I
cold
hate being
and I
cold.
have Raynaud's in my feet. So when my feet get cold, they go completely numb.
Huh,
Yeah, so we definitely need to keep the feet warm.
right.
Yeah,
All right.
I think that's it. I can't think of any questions just yet. I would say the only gear that makes me uncomfortable right now, that's not the most comfortable, is my helmet and glasses together. I think my helmet comes too far down or my glasses come too far up and everything touches real tight and then puts a lot of pressure on my face. But
Okay. All right. Well, here you go.
yeah,
I got a prop.
here we go.
So in a helmet, back here, all right, you've got this little dial, right, which tightens it up on the back of your head.
Yep.
Well, in the helmet, up higher in there, you should be able to move this piece. You can bring it down here or you can raise it up. So you unsnap this from the inside of the helmet and you can adjust that, which what it'll do is,
Shift it back. Huh.
right, it will shift it on your head like that.
Yeah, that's exactly what I need. Nope, I haven't
Oh,
tried that. I'm doing that as soon as I get home.
right. So figure that out.
Yeah.
You might want to change this adjustment, maybe make it a little more snug so your helmet doesn't end up, well, so it doesn't end up going from here to here when you're coming downhill,
Yeah.
right? So maybe adjust this a little bit tighter. I mean, there's a sweet spot between it being comfortable and being too tight and it doesn't work. So
Yeah.
think about that. And then also, this is a great time for the plug. 100% Optics is sponsors the show, and they've gave us 30% off coupons for their optics, and they may have a glass that's a little bit shorter here,
Mhm.
depending on what you have. If it's tall from the top of your bridge of your nose to the top of the lens, if you get something shorter, it gives you some relief between your helmet and your glasses. So there's some ways to remedy that issue.
Mhm.
All it takes is money, right?
A little more money. I've
Little
spent
more.
this much. Why not throw in a few more?
Right. And then just, again, whatever, just do it.
Yeah. Right.
Uh,
Just
all
going
right.
for it. I'll just pass down all my gear to my son anyway. He'll be thrilled.
Right. He'll be getting some nice stuff.
Yeah, he's already taken the top two bag that ended up being too small. He's already got that tied to his bike but I love it because then he'll ride with me. So
There you go. Good
yeah.
deal.
Hmm.
What else? What else do we got you could talk about? What corral are you in?
Brown.
You're in Brown Corral. Okay. Well,
I believe
I
that's
know.
all the way in the back, right?
Yep, it's all the way in the back, and it's self-seed. Okay, which means you get there earlier the better, and you get in Brown 1, and you get to the front of Brown 1.
Hmm.
All right, because I've ridden with you, and I know what you can ride. I know how you can ride. So you need to get in the front of Brown 1
Okay.
and take off,
All right.
and go for it, and get ahead of anybody you can before the Cuban climb, because you will probably catch white riders. You're going to be catching 2 corrals of white riders. Not all of them, right? But there's going to be plenty of people that you're going to be passing on Tennessee Creek Road and on the Cuban climb, along with your corral. So just, manage. Don't just completely turn yourself inside out, but stay focused, stay safe, always have an out. So consider riding far left, far right, not in the middle, because if you know that gives you at least 180 degrees of no people,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's this side or this side. And then all you're managing is who's in front of you and who's on the side of you,
Right.
because you're hauling butt on the pavement.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I like to do so that I have an out, because you will probably see some really crazy shit happen on the pavement. People will reach down for their bottle and they'll move laterally, 3 feet, and they'll
Yeah.
take the guy behind them out that wasn't,
Oh,
that was drafting.
right.
I mean, some crazy stuff goes on. I've seen 10 bike pileups and collarbones broken and
Oh,
derailleurs rolled over. I mean, just terrible. Races over before they hit the dirt.
that
So
would be
we
so
want to make sure,
awful.
right? I mean, you got a year of training, all that invested time and money and family sacrifice and housework sacrifice and all of that kind of stuff, and you blow it before you hit the dirt. So
Yeah, we're not doing that. Let's
yeah,
not do
let's stay
that.
to one side or the other. Manage. Keep the space between you and the guy in front of you. Make sure that you can, the whole thing is make sure you can react,
Yeah.
right? Make sure you can react and you can keep yourself out of harm's way.
Mhm.
So not only, so, the mantra of the day is going to be manage. And it's going to be manage your space, manage your fuel, manage your heart rate, manage your power, manage your core temperature, manage,
Mhm.
because you've got such a long day. That things can go south real fast if you don't. If you start running on the ragged edge of any of those, it's easy to end up going off the cliff.
Yeah.
So you just, you want to stay in the sweet spot,
Yeah.
right? You don't want to overdo anything. You don't want to underdo anything. You just want to stay in the sweet spot, your sweet spot, whatever that is, right? All day. And, just manage it and keep it there. Don't ever,
Mhm.
if you feel a cramp coming on, deal with it before it gets bad.
Right.
If you've got a burning in your neck from, just this, deal with it before it gets bad.
Mhm.
Stretch, sit up, stretch, move your arms, do this, whatever you have to do. If you're on your seat, pick your butt up and move over and just put it on one sit bone. Sit on the right sit bone and let your left sit bone hang off the edge of the seat. And then do it to the other side. And maybe scoot way back on your seat. Maybe stand up more. Maybe take your leg or unclip one pedal and reach back and grab your leg and pull it up and stretch the front of your quad. All when you're going slow, but do those kind of things so that you don't get to the point where it's, oh my God, this is, a fire and I have to put it out.
Mhm.
So all of those things, you want to manage all day long, stay in your sweet spot, smile, smell the roses, enjoy the day, and just keep on going. So
Yeah, that's
a
the
lot to
plan.
think about.
I know.
You
Now
got
just
a lot to
now
think
to
about.
just not overthink it, right?
You've done the work.
Yeah.
Well, this is something that you need to embrace. You have done the work. I know you've done the work. I know your coach. We talk about it all the time. You've done the work. So you're good. You've checked the fitness box. So you need to embrace the fact, I know I can finish the 100 miles. That is not the question anymore. You've taken that question out of the equation.
Yes.
Now we're going to prepare you for all the other things. And whenever something, if you see the black cloud, start to make sure you know where your rain jacket is. Is it accessible? Do I have to do any prep? Whatever. So that if it does start, you're ready. You don't
Yeah.
get caught off guard and now you're soaking wet. And now you've got a downhill and you're going to
Yeah.
freeze, So you just want to stay on top of whatever it is. Manage all those things and keep it right where you have control over it all. So
Well, another area that I do not feel ready, and I'm actually kind of surprised I still haven't, um, it's just time. Like you just said, sacrifice. Man, do you sacrifice a lot to keep the training a priority, and running a business, being a mom, being a wife, home. I mean, trying to do all of those things and get in all the training is incredibly challenging, and there's a lot of sacrifice. But one thing that I have had on my must list and still has not been checked off is learning the bicycle. I've definitely learned a lot. I've been asking tons of questions and learning how things work and getting a better understanding of all of that. But when it comes to actual race day and there being a problem, I am not sure I could do it. I've watched, like I've watched my husband change a tire. I've watched him use a bacon strip. I've watched him use the chain breaker, but I've always been the sous chef in the situation, hold this, hand me that, hang on to this. So I've watched it, but I haven't actually done it. And I'm not sure if I pop a tire, I could really change it. So I have everything that I got some old tires from the bike shop, and I have an old rim that I can use, and we are going to bring it with us out west. So if we don't make the time before we go to have a little lesson, we're at least bringing it with us. And once we're out there, the stress of work and home will obviously not be there, and can make some time to learn how to do those things before the race day.
Okay, I'm glad you brought that point up. Buckle chasers. If you have never changed the tube, or if you never put a tube in your tubeless tire, you have to do that before the race. And
Yeah.
Wendy's going to do it. I'm going to make her do it.
Yeah.
So you need to do it. It's burn the money on the CO2, the extra CO2s that you need. Don't use a compressor. Don't use a floor pump, because that's not what's going to happen out on the course. So do it exactly how it is out on the course. Have all of your tools and your CO2 and your tube where you're going to have them race day. If you don't have to have the flat, but you can just stop, take your wheel off, and take your back wheel off, because that's harder. And you're going to want to get your chain down in number 10 or 11, pull the derailleur, or pull the derailleur back, hit the pin. Now take the axle off, take the wheel off, break the bead, get it all the way around. Now get the valve stem out. And you're going to either need the Wolf pliers, which have the chain link, and you also have a tire iron, or they make valve stems now, that valve stem caps that actually you can turn them perpendicular, and you can put it on, and you can pull the valve stem core out if you need to. But you need to get the nut off the stem itself at the wheel. That's the important part. That's got to come out, because you're going to be putting a tube in that has a valve stem in it. You've got to push it through, get the tube in. If you could do it by hand, great, because then you don't risk pinching the tube, but that takes a little bit of strength. So you have, these are things you really have to practice. Then air it up with your CO2, get it right, get it back on your bike, get it going. But you definitely have got to practice that, because the Rocky Mountains are called the Rocky Mountains for a reason. They're not called the round, soft corner river rock mountains. Yeah. They're called the Rocky Mountains.
They're pointy.
It's no joke, and they have zero. They don't care. They do not care. They will tear your tire. They'll puncture your tube. They'll pinch flat. They will do whatever they want to. So be able to do that, and then practice line choice. That's another thing. Good line choice alleviates a lot of that stuff. So, and then pressure, a little bit more pressure might be a good thing as well. I run, 27 and 30, because I do not want that crap to happen to me. So I think it helps. It's been 15 years. I haven't had a flat. Knock on wood. Where's the wood?
Why'd you say that out loud?
No good. All right.
Take it back. Take it back.
Take it back. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, awesome. Thank you for the update. Her power is increasing. Her FTP is increasing. Her watts per kilogram is increasing. And you're up to 3.2. That's going to be a solid Leadville day. That's great. As long as you keep all the other things in line, manage everything else, going to have a super good day.
Yeah. The pressure's increasing too.
Oh yeah. So we'll do a follow-up show with Randy here soon.
Yeah.
But
he has had, I'm going to give a little sneak peek on his, but he just had another amazing increase on his. So I have really enjoyed, you started this off with, training together, if it was, you know, good or bad for marriage. And I hope he has the same answer, but I love, I love training with him. And I love not only learning all of this, but learning it alongside of him. And he already knows so much, so I'm learning from him as well. But also watching him grow and get stronger, and it is so cool. And I'm actually so torn, because there's a part of me that is so excited to do the race, but there's a big part of me too that wishes I was on the sidelines cheering him on and getting to be his support and see him through. So, but not this year. This year we're doing it together.
All right.
So,
Well, it's great to hear. Love it. Love the support. Sounds awesome. There's some, maybe there's some marital advice. Do Leadville together. Strengthen your relationship.
yeah.
I don't know. I think you're the anomaly, but good.
Yeah, maybe.
All right, Wendy.
It does have its stressful times, but we're there for each other then in it, which is pretty cool.
Awesome. Love hearing it. Thank you again.
You're
And
welcome.
you know, for some buckle stoke, we are getting, you know, we're getting some traction. So we've got 100% optics, which will do 30% off anything in the cart. So reach out to me, Mike, at getmybuckle.com, and I can get you set up with that. Carmichael Training waives the athlete registration fee. Carbo Rocket is 25% off your first order. Infinite Nutrition, the same thing. Bird Wheels, the rope spoke, carbon hoop, super comfortable, super light setup is 10% off a wheel set. So you can get everything you need, or you can get a lot of things you need for Leadville. So it's nice that they're supporting the channel and helping out. So you guys use that stuff if you need it. If you need the codes, Get My Buckle are the codes for everything except the Bird Wheels, and that's Bird Buckle 2024. So, all right. Well, thank you very much, racers, for checking in. And we're going to do our next show following Wendy is with Amani Toomer, the NFL star, who's doing Leadville. So he's next.
Cool.
All right. All right, Wendy. Thank you. We'll see you at the finish line. We'll see you at the finish line, you guys.
Bye.